What's up, everybody? Welcome to the channel. Today we are going to be talking about Bisaccia, and I actually have got a fun little story to tell. Actually, it's not my story. It's a story of a friend of mine. He was a teacher of mine when I grew up. He taught me how to play the drums, and he's amazing, by the way, at it. But his name is Steve Gentile, and he's going to be talking about what thoughts went through his mind and why he's on the channel is because he had an interest in buying one of the €1 homes in Bisaccia. Without further ado, let's welcome Steve. This is his first Zoom call, so this is pretty exciting for him too. Hey Steve, how are you doing?
Hey, thanks for having me, Dave. You are an outstanding drummer yourself.
If only I had your skills.
Yeah, I love Italy. We have cousins there on my side of the family and my wife's side. And my wife's side is from Bisaccia. That's why we're so interested in the house there.
That's cool. I've actually shared a little bit about your story on another video of mine. I don't know if anyone hasn't seen it, they're welcome to go check out the video in the corner here that talks about his little trip there, but go ahead.
One of the faiths in the world, the LDS religion, is great at getting these records that I could access to find out where everyone was at. Because I knew my cousins. We live near Naples, Solofra. In fact, my wife's family is really close to where my family is from. Anyway, only about an hour drive between Solofra, Italy. It's right near Naples, and then going to the east from there is where my wife's Bisaccia is at. I figured out where the exact birthplace of her grandfather. So her grandfather came over in 1914, and then 7 years later, my wife's grandmother came over, and they had a child together. So I guess it was dicey if they're actually going to meet up again or not. But she did. It wasn't that long ago, 1922, or 21, when my wife's grandmother came from Italy, from that little town, Bisaccia, to the United States. We had a real desire to go meet her cousins, and she didn't know them. And so what we did was I got everyone with the correct surname, Tenori, her family name. And so I just shot out a bunch of letters to the town of Bisaccia, and sure enough, we got a bunch of replies like, "You're our cousins, come on and visit." And it was so amazing because they just welcomed us with open arms. Francesco took off of work for 3 days, showed us all around. They have this really cool business. They do cheese making in the artisanal way, all natural, old time way. They use open fire. They have all their own cows. And it was just an incredible experience.
What can you tell us about Bisaccia? So I've never been there personally. I passed by Bisaccia. You've been there.
Yeah, we stayed there. So it's hard to stay there because we didn't find a Airbnb or a rental of any sort. We stayed about 10 minutes outside of it in a little town called Vallata, which is gorgeous as well, just like Bisaccia. The charm of these little towns is incredible. I can't believe our ancestors left. Why did they leave? These towns are just gorgeous. So when you pull into Bisaccia, there's these little tiny streets, that medieval stone look. And the castle's dominating everything because there's a hill on Bisaccia, and the ducal castle overlooks all of the town. And cool. And then all the people there, it's really neat. This is real Italia. This is the real deal. The people are so amazing there. And it's very, I don't know how many people on Bisaccia. I'd bet maybe 1,000, 2,000. I don't know. But it's small because they're all in the squares, and they all just watch these Americans walk by. We dress and look a little different. And then sure enough, Francesco came and met us right in the main piazza. He took us, we went to this restaurant. Oh my goodness. Might be the best meal I ever had on the planet Earth. It was 4 hours of incredible food. And then my own cousins do that. They make it for us, in their house. So it'll be 4 or 5 hours of just plate after plate of different amazing food.
Yeah, they definitely like those multi-course meals, right? And by the way, Steve, everything he says is always true.
Is that a caveat that maybe it's not?
No, I'm kidding. No, but seriously, I believe you. He actually, I know this about Steve is that he spends a lot of time giving reviews on, I forgot the name of it though. What is it that TripAdvisor. Yeah, you give really good reviews on TripAdvisor. I'm just saying that you can trust his opinion.
Yeah, it is just my opinion, but it is incredible. Hey, that was so fun. We met up there what was it, 5 years ago, 4 years ago now? Yeah, that town was amazing up there. Where did we meet? Was it in Parma or?
It was in Parma.
Was it? It was incredible.
Yeah, we were super late because we couldn't anyway, find parking.
It doesn't matter because we're in Italy. You can eat until midnight.
Oh, I have a question about Bisaccia. Basically, I don't know how much you know about my channel, but we talk about the real estate, and that's why
I watched every video, dude. I've watched every video. I love your channel.
Awesome, thank you.
I really do.
So we talk about real estate. The one-year homes is kind of a big deal for a lot of people. It's more of the attention getter. Bisaccia, you said you didn't find an Airbnb there, but could it support an Airbnb?
Yeah, I think so. Definitely, because there's, you know, how the diaspora, the people leaving Italy in the late 1800s to the early 1900s, there's thousands of people, and a lot of them in the United States and in South America. So we know we're not the only ones that have, I mean, the closest we have grandmother and grandfather on my wife's side that left. So I'm sure there's lots of other people that love to come there. Not to mention, if the people would get out of a place like Venice, that's such a heavy tourist area, and come see a real Italy, I think that they would really like it more. The art, the Byzantine art, the history of Normans in there, and the Spanish and the French, like there's so many influences. It's just incredible. You'll see mosaics from like the year 900, you know, and just a church, like a regular pass along church. It's just incredible the things that are there. That's especially beautiful. In Bisaccia, it's really a charming town. It's hilly, and I could see, I don't want to say a tourist destination. It would probably wreck the town actually, but I could see people making it a place to go see because the food's incredible. The people are so sweet and friendly, and you're getting real Italy, not like a tourist version.
When you saw the €1 homes, for example, the first announcement, I remember that you contacted me. What steps did you take afterwards, or what? Tell me the story of what you went through, where it took you after we talked to each other.
Well, first of all, when I saw the Bisaccia, I saw it on CNN, like on a big news channel.
You saw it on CNN, okay?
Yeah, and then I contacted you directly because you're my man. You know your stuff. You're living there. You're doing this job. And I was like, Dave could help us do this and be kind of possibly like our go-between. And then being that she has cousins there, I have a picture here. I actually printed some stuff off. This is her cousin, Francesco. Maybe you can, I don't know if you can see it. He spent a day with us, and we thought we'll just get him to help us as well, because we have people that are from the town. And Francesco didn't, but Francesco's brother is named Angelo. He got us a number of a fellow that is involved in the actual transaction of these homes. And so, and that number in Italy, they use WhatsApp. That's their big app that they use. And so I contacted him through that phone number and WhatsApp, and he was kind, and he said, you know, these will be coming out next month. And then the COVID-19 coronavirus came and everything was canceled. But he was my best lead, apart from my cousins that are there, our cousins. And he emailed me back and said, I'm going to check on your exact property, which this is the exact property we're hoping for, because that's the exact home. There's another doorway, a couple houses up from there, that one of her great uncles was born in. So we would love it anywhere. And that is right in the zone where those $1 homes were being sold. So we were ecstatic that we could possibly move back into your grandfather's home.
That would be cool.
And the cool thing about it is that's where they were born. That's where they're raised. That's where they lived. You know, Italy wasn't like a big go to a hospital and be born in the early 1900s. So this is like a real, I don't know, I think it would be a real palatable family connection to live in that house. So that's what we're so excited and ecstatic and happy. And hopefully it comes through.
That would be definitely a cool thing. If you go ahead and buy something, definitely let me know, because we'll bring it here and everyone can see what you're doing.
We're going to probably help Dave.
That's probably true. Anyway, because every single comment I get on my channel is usually related to I want to see when it's done, or they want to see the process of what's going on. It's interesting.
So far, what we hit was a little bit of a wall, because when we first contacted him, like, we were hoping maybe he'd say, oh, it's your family home, we'll give you a sweet deal. That didn't happen.
That didn't happen.
With any kind of special, because we have family ties there. He just he gave me the date when it would open, and then you could do the €1. And I learned through you, and I didn't get any information through him. I'm probably learning more through you, Dave, than I did through my contacts there, even my cousins. That it takes some money that they'll expect you to fix it up in a certain amount of time. So we're just thinking, like, do we have the extra money to fix up a house that And it's in an earthquake area. Big earthquake happened here in 1930 and in 1980. And so there's probably structural things to be done and plumbing and things like this. But, so we were weighing out the money options of making this leap. But I think it would be just amazing to live in a beautiful part of the world. If I could turn this camera around, you'd see snow in Idaho right now. It's snowing here, Dave.
Snowing? Actually, my cousin, he sent a photo of him. He's a truck driver, and he's driving through Idaho right now, and it was snow covered. I thought it was like a past photo, but apparently it wasn't.
It's today.
Oh, man.
So one of the beauties of Bisaccia, on May 23rd, it's probably never going to snow. It'll be warm and beautiful. It is a beautiful town. The other thing I love about this town, in a lot of these southern towns, they do it. They have these ornate lights that go up for the celebration of the saint of that town, and it seems like they left them up there because we've seen pictures since, and when we were there, these gorgeous ornate presentations that are over the roads are just lit up all night. I don't know, it's just a gorgeous little town. We'd love to own property there.
Do you think that you'll end up? You said you'd love to live in the house that your family owned, right? Is this like a vacation home? Are you actually thinking about moving to Italy as a long-term goal?
I guess this is a family thing because I want to go today. I want to live there year-round.
Well, your kids are mostly grown, from what I understand.
They are. We have just 2 junior high ones left, and we would stay for them. So we would definitely be over all summers. When we initially buy it, we would probably do summers over there and come back for them. Because my job as a school principal, we have to be here, for the school year. So it'll be 3 months over there, and maybe Christmases go over there or whatever. And then eventually when the kids all leave the house, my Elizabeth is my youngest. She's a 9th grader, so she has 3-4 years left of school. When she flies the coop and we're empty nesters, I would just love to live there, full time, all the time.
And it's okay to leave it open-ended. I know that we don't want it to sound like you're submitting your 2 weeks notice or anything like that.
Yeah, that's not happening. We need money. I have a dream of our cousins saying, come on and work on the farm with us with the cows. My cousin, Angelo and Francesco, they're so proud of their business. The cheese they make is absolutely amazing. So neat. So I just have this vision of them saying, come on and help us on the farm. I would love that. But I don't know that they ever would. This is just me wishing.
A lot of people do ask me, do I rent a car?
Yeah.
That's cool.
So if you're going to see these more remote towns that were really set up, 1,000 years ago, you got to have a car. So you got to rent one. And I think we made a mistake on a couple of rental cars because we just rent through Hertz or something big like that, or National. And I think there's a way to rent a car for a month or something. I can't remember what that is, but we're going to have to do that if we buy this house and move there. But you definitely need a car to get to these towns because it's, Naples, and going out from Naples to the west and south, north, there's lots of great train lines, but not to these little towns. You'll have to know some people to either drive you or get a car.
I understand. Actually, I just stumbled across a website that has flights and hotels and car rentals at a very low prices, and they even talk about if you can find a lower price that is equivalent, they'll actually reimburse you 110%. So
that's a great thing.
It's a really cool deal. I have not searched all of Italy, but I have seen it in the larger cities for sure. You could always rent a car wherever the airport is, go and come back. So I imagine it would be accessible to anyone. So anybody who's interested in that link, for example, go ahead and contact me on the About page. You can get my information. Where did you rent your car from?
Just in Naples at the airport. And one time this is going back maybe, I don't know, for our second or third visit, we were down in Paestum, these amazing Greek ruins from Magna Graecia when they kind of came over. And our car got bashed into. All the windows are smashed. They stole everything they could. You can edit this if you want to. But the thing is that was interesting about it was we had the full coverage or whatever, and I can't remember what company we used, but we drove it back into the Naples airport, and they just traded us out, and we just kept rolling. Oh, cool. So I think it's valuable to have
full coverage.
Full coverage, yeah, because there was no questions asked. They just gave us another car, and we kept going.
Funny you say that. When I went to Sicily in November, I paid for insurance, and I got there. They said, "Would you like to upgrade to full coverage?" I was like, "I thought I had full coverage first of all," and I opted to not take it. And then the moment I walked away, because the question I asked when I left was, how's the driving here? And they said, there are no rules. And I was like, oh.
That's true. That's true.
The moment I went away, I was like gritting teeth, like don't touch my car, don't touch my car. And then I have a question about Bisaccia actually, because I went to Cammarata, and have you seen my video about Cammarata?
Yep, I've seen every
Cammarata
one
is
of
where I was walking up the hill forever and ever.
You look kind of empty. You're like, I don't know where all the people are.
I did greet one guy and 5 cats, but other than that, when I started to leave Cammarata, I follow Google Maps, right? And it's not honestly the best all the time in Italy, but so I was going and I was following, and then at a certain point, I ran into there was some guy parked in the middle of the street. There was one single tight road, and he was parked there with his work vehicle. And so all I did was take a slight detour that went up this ramp, and I almost got in the biggest trouble with that car, because I had to go down, I had to up back and forth and did 15-point turn, but I couldn't turn around, so I had to reverse the whole way back because there was no exit. Anyway,
I had that exact thing happen. These medieval roads are so tiny, and we went to Andretta, which is the other side of one of our families, and it's close to Bisaccia. We went up in our rent-a-car to a road that Google Maps was telling us to go down. We could not fit. It was that skinny. We had to back, just like you said, hard to do, backing in these tiny, skinny roads. Went all the way around the town to a different road that could come a different way. So you got to be careful. Like, it's moped is best, probably, those little ones. And Palermo, did you drive in Palermo?
I didn't go in Palermo. I passed through it. There's like a main road that passes through. I got the farthest into the area I got was next to the court, the courthouse.
Yeah, I think Italy driving is crazy everywhere. Even in the north, they drive crazy. But Palermo.
There's a little bit of more structure in Milan, or at least outside the edges of Milan, compared to where I've driven.
You still feel like a grandma or something.
Did you drive in Lecce?
Yeah, in Lecce they drive nuts.
Yeah, it's insane. There's like this intersection where it's like an all 4-way go. Whoever kind of rushes through first wins. And anyway, I always get anxiety when I go through that area.
Oh yeah, you gotta have real nerve and just go for it. Caserta was crazy driving. Naples is unbelievable, but I think Sicily is probably the most. They take it to a new level. So when you're in Bisaccia, there's so little traffic there. I think most people do walk, and the cars are little, and you come to a little town like Bisaccia or even Salofa or my.
Are the roads one street road, like one lane roads, or?
Some are so tiny, like where my wife's family's house is at. I bet you couldn't even fit more than a Volkswagen down those. But some of them widen out, and you could do 2 ways, and there's no rules there. So we went into the town area, and when we first met cousins, we just picked any place to park. And I think in the little towns they're a lot more open about that. You can just park anywhere. But if you're in a place like Palermo or something, they're gonna ticket your car and get you. So it's not even like a lot of signs. There's like a little sign that says this is an area that you need to pay, but it's really nondescript. But the good thing about the little towns is they're a little more laid back, and that's another reason to visit them, because it's just more cozy and welcoming. And so we just parked on the side of the road and walked down to the piazza, because even those we couldn't get through some of the skinny streets. Like, it was just too skinny for me. So
if I could tell you the story, it would take a day or two to tell you, but you have no idea how many tickets I have in Italy. I'm a really good, cautious driver. I'm patting myself on the back a little bit for this one, but comparing myself to all the other drivers, I am a really good driver. And anyway, I have tickets for the dumbest reasons, just mostly because I couldn't understand Italian the first year.
So the question is, Dave, do you actually pay them?
Yes.
You do, really?
Yeah, that's the point, is that I don't know who doesn't pay, but I feel like I'm paying for everyone else. So
yeah, maybe you are, because my cousin says don't pay it, don't ignore it. Like, right? we got a ticket. What was our first time over there? I can't remember. It was maybe 7 years ago. We got a ticket 2 years after the incident. We spent to Lecce is where we got it from, and it was like, some magnificent amount. I did pay the thing, but then all my cousins always say, "Oh, don't pay that. Why are you paying that?"
Well, I don't know. It might be small town life, but like my wife, for example, she every time if we get a ticket, we haven't got a ticket for years at this point. But every time we get a ticket, it says that you can save 30% if you pay for it within 5 days. And so that idea of saving 30%, she's like, boom, let's do it fast. Right? So then there's the other group of people who just don't care. And I don't know at which point it ever arrives to them. But no, we've always paid them.
In Italy, especially here in America, at least I never really encountered. And I grew up on the East Coast and I lived out west. So Italy, it seems to me they're just free flowing. Like they live life. And I think if they want to do it, they're going to do it. And if they don't, they don't. And if they want to drive here, they're going to drive there. Like it just, I don't know, that's the cool thing about Italy is they're just freewheeling, it feels like. You know, the way they drive is the way they live.
It's nice to have someone on this channel who's just completely passionate about Italy. I know you're Italian by roots, but it's nice to see such energy coming from you.
Oh yeah, it's an incredible place. Well, you live there. I'm jealous of you, dude. That's why I want to do the 1 year home. That's why I'm following your channel, because we're going to do it one day. We're definitely going to do it. And if it's the grandfather's house, that's slam dunk. You know, we would really want to be there. The only thing that tickles me a little more is to be near the sea, because that Ionian Sea on the east side, the Tyrrhenian Sea on the west side, you don't see clear seawater like that anywhere. Yeah. We've been to the Caribbean. I mean, it's like. So that I really love, like 1 year home, like that's where I was really interested, because we have my other cousins. My dad's grandmother is Sicilian. She's from Ficara, Sicily, a little mountain town. So when you did your Sicilian thing, like I've been in all those towns you're in, they all really piqued my interest as well, because I mean, being by the sea there would be such a magnificent thing. The family tugs us more, my wife's family in Bisaccia, but man, to have a property by the sea there, oh man. Yeah, there's nothing better in the world.
Seriously. Yeah. Well, I've got my, I don't know, maybe it's because I live from North Idaho, right, or from Southeast Idaho, where it's a little bit deserty. But one of my favorite places in Italy so far is whenever we visit family down in Apulia. And it is just a desert landscape. I also lived in Arizona for a while, so I like the heat. And I've already picked my spot out next to Gallipoli. If I can make that work out, there's this little shack that's not being used other than its I can't say it in English anymore, agricultural use. And it's right next to a reserve, like kind of like trees, Italian again, woody area right next to the beach. And so it's really actually expensive to get right on the beach, and it's not really yours, it's public anyway. So this is my favorite spot. We always go there whenever we go. It's a little bit farther from my in-laws' house, but because they live in Lecce, and that's literally connected to both sides of the peninsula. Yeah.
Beautiful town.
If I ever move down there, I know it's going to be in that little shack after I remodel it. So
I'm going to move in with you, Dave. It sounds that good.
I've got to expand it. It's got like an olive vineyard. Do you say vineyard for olives?
Wow, yeah.
An orchard.
Incredible. Yeah. Oh, that's incredible. That sounds just like heaven right there. Incredible.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
Anyway, so regarding the 1 year home, if they open the doors to Italy this month, would you be visiting?
Yeah, no, so that's where I might use you, because I don't know how quickly you can get over there, and being employed with the school district and everything depends how quickly things happen. But yeah, I would come over and try to do it right away. And that's the other thing. One of the things that the person said when I was communicating with them on WhatsApp was that there is kind of like an order. Are you familiar with this? There's a first come, first serve type thing, and it goes in order. Is that true at all? Or?
Well, I think that's just his way of saying is that nobody gets special treatment. You come, you see it, you buy it, right? Okay. Other communities, for example, Sambuca, they did an auction, so everyone just submitted auction like a bid, and whoever had the highest or whoever had the most acceptable proposal won. Muzumeli has an ongoing thing where people can still submit houses, and if there's inventory, they will sell it. But it's kind of more or less died down by this point until they just 1 or 2, 3 at a time.
Yeah.
Bisaccia, on the other hand, they're throwing out there like kind of like Sambuca. This is entirely speculation. People who trust my channel, I don't want you to assume that I know anything about this, but I've always been curious if they're gonna do it like Sambuca. And I don't know the answer to that yet, because Sambuca had some great success. They had like over 100,000 submittals. And so it might be due to their location being really close to Syracuse, being in that region of Sicily. And I don't know, honestly, Bisaccia is a little bit different. It's more in central Italy and up in the earthquake zone. But I have to say something about earthquake zones. Italy's an earthquake zone almost completely. And like they have different grades, like 3, 4, 5. I bought their house just down the road and learned later that it was in an earthquake zone that was just recently assigned that designation. So it's not like it can't be turned into an earthquake zone tomorrow if they decide to. So
yeah, you're right on the fault there. That's part of an interesting thing of the family. We have an older aunt. I think she's right near 190 something. My wife's aunt, they call her Auntie. Her real name is Antoinette, but it kind of fits. And she said that when I was doing the family history, she said that, oh, you won't find Francesco, her grandfather's family, because they're all killed in the 1930 earthquake. And I kind of was like disbelieving, like, yeah, every sibling died. It was true. It was true. Oh. And so these houses that are right there were really shook. And then again in 1980, I don't think it was as hard of an earthquake, like on the Richter scale or whatever. But so it's something to think about. But I don't know. I guess I'm kind of the mindset that if it's going to happen, it happens, you know. And I'm not really afraid of an earthquake being there. You know what I mean? If it happens, I'll ride the waves of the land.
Well, and if anybody's interested in doing like a major remodel on my channel, I just barely did a video about how to save money, and one of the designations is if it's an earthquake zone and you have to do so much, follow a certain standard in order, and an engineer architect will help you with that. But the point is that following certain guidelines, you can actually receive a tax reduction. If you have an income in Italy, it can count against the taxes you owe. And so it's not for everyone. For example, anyone who's doing a vacation that's not using it as an Airbnb, they probably can't take advantage of it. But if you do a remodel, you could definitely consider it.
Because something that concerned me was, if I buy this house and I only use it like 4 months out of the year, what are the taxes I'm paying? Like, is it worth it just in taxes alone? And we have another cousin that's here in the United States, and he does own a house in Andretta. Again, it's a town that's near Bisaccia. And I asked him what is his taxes there per year. He said it comes out to like $400 American dollars. It's not that much. Like, I thought that's doable. So in this particular area, which is definitely not a tourist area, it's middle of Italy, country, you know, paese area. That's the taxes in this town are going to be fairly cheap, but what I would think of as an American anyways. Very similar to Idaho, a lot less than in New Jersey or Philadelphia. Like my sister paid $20,000 a year in taxes. So $500, $400, he said, for the year. That's pretty great. Like, I can handle that.
Yeah, I can give you an example of a northern Italian city. It really, you have to go onto the Italian community, that community's website, if they've got it all set up. Normally they do. In the Comune will know this information, but they have it's called the aliquote regarding homes that are not prima casa. So pretty much anybody that is buying a property for use that is not intending to reside there for more than 6 months of the year will be into this category of secondary casa. And they will have to pay what's called emu. It sounds like a bird. But IMU is what it is, and it is the contributions to the city for the tax purposes, right? Property taxes. But if you're residing there, you don't pay property taxes on most property in Italy. If it's just for 4 months of the year, it's probably going to be right around that range that you just said. I pay 480 euros, which is more like 500, almost 600 euros. But it's in a northern town, and it's in a town with much more than 1,000 people. So most likely it would be lower in a community like that one.
Right. Yeah, that's interesting to know. So that's the other thing about it. I think the way Italy looks at it definitely is that the South is a little less rich and not running things, industrially like the North is. And so maybe it's a little cheaper down there than when you're in Lodi, right?
Yeah, I'm in that province, right? And the city itself is just southwest of it.
Yeah. I just watched an Italian movie the other night, just, stay up with the language. La lingua. I read one that said, like, the girl from Lodi or something. I thought about you the whole time. Ragazzi, Lodi, something like that.
You're also thinking about the virus, because that's where they discovered the virus from.
Well,
here in Italy. Yeah. But hey, thank you, Steve, for coming to this channel. We really appreciate your point of view. That's about all the time we have. We don't want to take up everybody's entire day, but it's been fun catching up with you, as well as let's keep in contact about the 1 Euro homes in Bisaccia. You keep me informed through your cousins, and I'll keep you informed from my side of things. All right?
Thanks for having me, Dave. Thanks for being there. I do plan on using you, so thanks for being there.
No, I appreciate your support. Anyway, good to talk to you. See you later.
Great to talk to you. See you, Dave.